Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Check it out. It is the Teal. You may have seen the unboxing. If not, I'll have the unboxing video of this pop up here on the screen, and also the links will be in the description of that video, and also the Teal here. But this is going to be the flight test. I've got 3 batteries, 1 on the drone, 2 extras I got in the box. Right now, all we can do is control it from our phone. The controller is not available yet, so we're just going to do a phone flight. And we're going to test as many options as possible. We should be able to go through pretty much everything in this initial review. Now, this thing just came out, so there's still possibly some bug fixes and some development going on, but we're going to see how it does right now and give it a test flight. Let's go fly. Okay, so I forgot the launch pad today, so I'm just going to launch it directly from this table here. This is just like a plastic and metal table. I did do the calibrations at home. I should say with this one, with the Teal One, it is kind of an interesting way to calibrate it, where you run through the calibration and it's kind of all in one. It does the accelerometer and the compass all in one calibration, which I kind of don't like, because to do the accelerometer, you kind of want to be on a perfectly level surface. I like them to be separated, so you can do the accelerometer in your house, and then you could go out and do the compass calibration, you know, like in the middle of a field away from any metal. But you're kind of not able to do that since it goes through the whole process in one take. These are the kind of like the foldable props it comes with, and these things, as you can see, they don't fold all the way down. You can see that they're limited to about kind of like a V shape, so you're not going to get that fully compactability as some of the other drones, but you can remove them pretty easily, and then you can pop them back on, so at least they kind of flex. There's no case for this right now, so I'm just kind of carrying it. You could use the box, of course. The box does have a handle, but you know, a lot of people don't like to use the paper box they come with, and more of a case would be nicer to have. Anyway, we've already kind of done this on the unboxing, but I'm just going to go through the boot up process again, flipping over the SD card door here. We do have a, I think this is a 32 gig extreme 4K card, so this should be plenty enough speed to test it in all the modes we need to test it in. So we're just holding the power on until we hear a noise. Okay, so we heard a noise and we see some lights come up, and we just want to give it like maybe 30 seconds to go through its boot up process. You're going to hear those tones there. And the funny thing is with the cell phone, I will be recording this for you guys, is with this one you kind of need to turn off your cellular data when you at least initially connect to this. So I just went ahead and turned off my data communication. Leave your Wi-Fi on, because that's how this connects. Okay, so recording the screen, all we should have to do now is link up to the Wi-Fi. It has went ahead and finished booting up. It took about 20-30 seconds to finish booting up. So we'll go ahead and go into our Wi-Fi settings here, and we're looking for the Teal One. So it looks like it auto connected. You can see there, since I have it listed to auto connect and there's no other Wi-Fi networks it remembered, so that's good to go. Now we'll go ahead and go into the Teal Flight application. So we're just pressing on it one time. Quickly connected. We have green light solid instead of the flashing green light going across the back of the drone, and we are pretty much ready to go. I just want to check out my settings real quick. One of the things I'm not sure about is the updates on this. I haven't got any notification for updates, and there's no way to force update in the application, so maybe something that they're going to hopefully pretty soon implement. Cool, so we'll just go right into fly, and let's see if we got some camera. Okay, great. There's the camera, and it's switching into kind of the portrait mode. Since we do have the phone in portrait mode, watch when I turn to the landscape mode. You see that? And something you'll see too on the screen is this one shoots 4K only in portrait mode. So you see how you have the sidebars there? So it's a portrait mode 4K. So maybe something they can update so we can have like a widescreen 4K eventually. And also another thing I'm noticing is there's no GPS satellite indication here. All you have is this green icon on the bottom left by the SD card icon and the battery icon. So what we'll do first is we'll go ahead and we'll take off. We'll actually take a picture. The sun is over there in the camera, but we'll go ahead and take a picture. I'll have that pop up on the screen, and then we'll go ahead and start our 4K video. And I'm going to be switching, guys, in between 4K and 2.5K and 1080. So we'll go ahead and just take off. I think it's had a while to establish some satellites. I'm just going to press takeoff, and this is the portrait control mode, and I'll show you how that works. So pressing takeoff. Are you sure? make sure you are clear. And we're also going to see how close it lands when we do our return to home, right? So taking off, start. There we go. Okay, so it's pretty loud. It sounds kind of like a mosquito, almost like the Mavic Air. So anyway, that's how it's sounding. We're gonna go forward just by pushing kind of forward, and then we can rotate the head left and right in this little circle. So that's how it's initially controlling in portrait mode, just kind of going straight. And I do have it kind of in the intermediate to beginner control speed right now. Okay, so that's how we can go forward, back, left, turn left and right. And in this portrait mode, you can't do any rolling, right? You can only turn the head forward, back, and then in this sidebar, you press up and it will go up. That's how fast it's going up. I'm not seeing any telemetry on this screen. If I rotate, there we go, there's our telemetry, you see that? So I rotated to landscape, and that's where we can see our distance, our height, and our speed. So just control it a bit in portrait, and then we'll switch into landscape, see how it does. So this is full speed forward. Remember, that's like intermediate mode. Wow. Okay, so already, did it lose connection? I think it said land or something, because it was almost losing connection. So keep in mind, that's the thing, the limitation of Wi-Fi is you're only going to get, like, depending on your, your interference, you're only going to get like 300 to 600 feet. And it is a pretty high interference area right here. So I'm not expecting to get much. But that's how the videos, there's really no stabilization. There's no wind right now. And that is how it's working. Let's try to do like a slow kind of rotation here. I'm just kind of going slow, and so you can kind of see how this camera's doing. In portrait mode, as you can see, there's no way to really adjust the camera up and down as far as what I can see. Let me try to slide on the screen. Let's see here. Nope. Can't really do anything there with the camera. So I guess what we'll do right here is we'll go into a return to home. Let's try the voice. You can do the voice in portrait mode. So let's hold the voice, and I'm gonna say return to home. Ready? Return to home. And that's a little bit buggy. You see how I pressed it, and we really have no indication it's gonna return to home. Because it said voice command not recognized. Let's try that again. Return to home. Yeah, I don't know what the heck that means. So kind of weird. So what I'll do is I'll turn it into landscape, and this is where we have this actions buttons. You see that? Before we return to home, let's go ahead and tilt the camera down. Now we have this slider on the right where we can tilt the camera up and down. So that's all the way down. We're not getting a true 90-degree downward angle. This really is only about 45 degrees. Okay, and then I'm going to rotate the camera up, and we'll see how all the way up looks in 4K. Okay, so that's camera all the way up. And then this is just about center as far as what the bar shows. So we'll do a return to home, and then we'll go into some other actions and see what we can do. So return to home is all we can do here. I'm going to press it, and let's see what happens. It's turning. Okay, returning to home. If I hit dismiss, let's see if it still returns to home. Yeah, so it's still going to return to home. It's coming down pretty quick. Does have those sonic sensors. So that was interesting. It went ahead and stopped right there, and then now it's coming down on its own very slowly. Wow. Whoa. I almost went ahead and pushed throttle up, but look how close it landed to its launch point. I thought it was gonna go off the table. Let's go ahead and stop recording here. Pressing that top recording button. Let's go back into Kind of cool how you can go in between portrait and landscape just by tilting the phone. So we can see the accuracy. I launched from pretty much the center of this right square, and it's just maybe 6 inches off to the right. So a very good return to home accuracy. Pretty awesome, pretty close to what they're claiming. It's supposed to have close to centimeter accuracy, and that all depends also on the array of satellites. So we have to go into, I just pressed that gear on the top. We have to go into the settings to change the camera. So we'll go into 2.5K now. Well, I've had up the 4K on screen. You could see, unfortunately, it's just available in the portrait, but this 2.5K should be available in the landscape. Do have that flight bubble on, and all that is basically a geo-fencing. So I'm going to turn that off, and we're going to possibly test some of the return to home options here, see how far we can get, since we do have 3 batteries. So pressing X out of here, we are going to now let's try a voice takeoff. So I'll switch over to landscape. We can see that we have a full wide screen of 2.5K here. Unfortunately, there are no camera settings, guys. That's one of the things. No camera settings yet. So it's all automatic. Take a picture in this mode, and then we'll go ahead and start recording in 2.5K. Wait till that starts, and let's try a voice launch. So say takeoff, right? Takeoff. That's kind of lame to me, because as soon as you press and hold it, it says voice command unrecognized. So again, a bug, very irritating. So they need to work on that. So we'll just press takeoff now. Now we're getting about 5 mph winds coming from this direction to the front left of the drone. So we'll see how it maintains its stability when we launch. And this thing is supposed to fly for about 15 minutes is what they're saying, guys. So we'll see how accurate that is. So we'll start. Lifting off. Okay, it went away automatically, that notification there. And so now we have the regular type of controls where we can just press up to go up. Okay, it doesn't show any speed on our ascent, but we do have height and stuff. That's good. There's that skate park over there. Let's take a look at the skate park. Already noticing some choppy FPV because this is Wi-Fi. Look at that. So choppy on the screen. We're going to turn the head to the left a bit. And I don't want to go directly over that skate park because there are kids on it. But I do want to kind of fly over there a bit. This is where we can see the stabilization. I haven't touched the yaw since I turned to the left there. And you can see it wagging a bit. So let's go full throttle forward and let's look at our speed. So full stick forward now. System alarm, flight quality may be poor. Please land and recalibrate. Wow, really? So even though I calibrated, that's unfortunate. I don't want to land. Why would I want to land there? Nope. I want to go actions and return to home. Oh, Wi-Fi connection lost. Wow. So we were only 115 feet away, guys. And it totally lost connection. That's a bummer. So now I'm kind of at the mercy of it returning home. I still have a Wi-Fi connection lost. There we go. It reconnected when it was right overhead. So the infamous Wi-Fi connection issues. See if we can move the camera up a bit. And again, that's all the way down. So it doesn't give us the downward shot. Quite disappointed in the ability there. And it looks like it's gonna land off the table this time. Okay. It did at least turn off its propellers and disarm and everything. And that time it was about 2 feet to the right front of its return to home point. So the first time was pretty much spot on. Second time had a little trouble. And wow, is the horizon okay? It looks a little bit tilted for some reason. Maybe that's just the park. Anyway, does look like it. Now it's straightening out. So maybe it had a little bit of a horizon tilt issue, even though I don't see any stabilization on the camera. Anyway, what else do we want to do, guys? I don't know how much power we have left. All I can see is that little battery icon, so I would like to see a percentage on the screen somewhere. The voice command unfortunately isn't working, so something they need to take care of. Let me go all the way to beginner flight tuning, so it's super slow. Let's see how slow that is. So we're going to close this and we're going to launch. Take off. All right. I'm going to be a little bit lower, come down a little bit, go a little bit forward. And I want to see how fast it's going to fly in this beginner mode. Well, we didn't really get an up close and personal of it. I'm already seeing a little bit of yaw wag on its own there. Don't really like that. Let's see how stable it can be with the sonic sensors. So really just barely any wind right now. 30% low battery, just got a warning. This is how it's looking. Let's record our video. Remember, this is 1080. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Sorry, the sun's right there, so not very good lighting. And keep in mind, this has no tracking right now either. There we go. There's a little bit more of a lit shot. So that's how the 1080p is. Just kind of looking at it, trying to center myself. So no real smart functions as far as follow me, any of these advanced flight settings or anything. But that's how it's running. It does kind of sound pretty loud and like a mosquito, like I was saying, kind of like the Mavic Air. Anyway, it did give us the warning. Let's just fly out here, see how fast it'll go. Full stick forward. Okay, so it is quite limited in its speed in beginner mode. Turning, coming back, and that's how fast it's going, which is 8 miles per hour in beginner. Okay, let's see how the yaw is in beginner. Come over here a little closer. It is keeping its altitude pretty darn good. I mean, maybe a foot or so. That's full yaw in beginner mode. Okay, let's go quickly into all the way up to advanced. Okay, so that's maximum, guys. Oh, okay. So it wants to return home. Critically low battery. Do you want to return home? So it's not going to automatically return home, it seems. So I'm going to press yes, return home. And let's see what it does. Wow, it flies quick in its advanced setting there. So still gonna miss the table again. This is the third time. It seems just about the same spot it was the second time. And there it goes, it powers itself off. Let's put in a new battery, guys, a fresh battery. Let's get into that advanced mode and just see how fast we can do some sprint runs. I also want to test some other things as well. Before we pop that new battery in, guys, just want to feel the battery. Let's pop this out. Again, 2 tabs here on either side. Pull back and it just pops off. As far as the heat of the battery, really not warm at all. Just slightly warm on the outside. And then on the inside, it's just maybe, you know, just slightly warm as well. A little warmer than the outside, of course. This thing does have these two internal cooling fans blasting air out this way. And it's sucking the air in from these side vents here. There's 2 large side vents on the front. Whoa, interesting. Okay, so that time it reconnected, and look at the video. It's like all RGB. Whoa, that's quite weird, isn't it? So, wow, we can still control the camera and everything, but it's like this weird multicolor. So that's a little bit weird. So I'm not liking that. That's like possibly a little software glitch. So how can we remedy that? Let's try go maybe out of the app. Let's try to change our resolutions. Still weird. Go into landscape. Still have resolution problems. It does look kind of neat, but I don't want to be seeing this when I'm trying to fly FPV. So Man, well, I'll try to reboot and see if we can get our video back. Okay guys, rebooted, same battery, same everything. I did turn the craft 90 degrees to the right, just so we're not pointing into the sun. Maybe it was messing with the camera a little bit. So we're centered in that second half of the table, just pointed downhill at the coast. Let's go back into the Teal flight. We're already connected wirelessly, and we want to just fly, and I'm really hoping that the camera's still not screwed up, and sure enough it is. Look at this, man. Wow. Oh well, okay, so a little bit of FPV glitch. Hopefully, maybe the video is not glitched when I take some video. So we'll just take off and do kind of a line of sight flight, and so you can see that video and see how fast it's going to go. So we're all the way up to advanced, remember. I have telemetry on. I'm going to do 2.5 recording, just so we can have the wide screen and we still have a pretty high definition. Start. Okay. We'll let it just get up there and maybe hover for a second. But man, that FPV is just crazy looking, isn't it? No idea what that is. It was working great initially. We'll come down and we'll try some very fast maneuvers in this advanced mode. I'm gonna come back. First of all, we want to see our yaw speed. Wow, I can tell it's a lot faster already. So we'll do a full yaw to the left. Yeah, so much faster. Coming down a little on my thumbstick, there we go. So it is quite a bit faster than beginner mode. You see that rotating there? So it looks good. Want to make sure nobody's in the way. And we will do a full stick forward. Wow, it is fast. We'll see if it hits the ground here. So I'm kind of just flying like line of sight, because can't see much in the FPV because of what it's doing, unfortunately. So full stick forward, let's see if it drops a little bit. So full forward here, go. Oh, it is fast. So that's one thing it's got going for it. It's got a really good fast travel speed. Whoa, that was a little weird. So I'm hoping it can see the grass. We're gonna get it kind of lower. I want to turn towards me, and we're gonna see if it possibly is gonna run into the ground or if the sensors are working good. Okay, ready? So we'll go a little lower. Whoa, that last drop is a little weird. A little touchy on the controls. Go down a little bit more. So I'm maybe about chest height. I want to make sure nobody's over there, and let's go full speed forward. Whoa, it looked like it was dropping a little bit. And you can see when it stops, it's kind of like it was wandering a little. So keep that in mind. It is fast though, man. So you're really going to want to be careful of this one, because it can go fast and there's no sensors. That's another con on this thing, is it looks like there are no optical sensors as far as optical avoidance, especially in this mode. Yeah, it does seem like it was started to drop slightly. Full pitch back. Whoa, it is very fast, guys. Oh, dropping. Okay. So this one also, even though it has these sonic sensors on the bottom, it is not clear of having the drop problem. So when you stop it, you saw how low it got to the ground. Just keep that in mind. So this one may be a candidate for possible crashing when you get too low to the ground, kind of like what happened with the, remember the Xeno, the Hubsan Xeno? We'll just do a full throttle run and turn hard. Turning all the way hard. Nope. At least it can turn hard. But it just doesn't have that precision with a phone control that you would get with a controller control. But I'll give it that it's very fast. Very, very fast. Look at that. Sounds kind of like a race drone. Whoa. That was weird. At the very bottom of its kind of its elevation. It wants to like drop for some reason, and it's a little more touchy on the controls. Anyway, that's how fast it goes in advanced mode. It's pretty locked in. It does get a little bit squirrely when you let off. That's the main negative of this, but it's very fast. This thing, as you can see, it's going about 60 miles per hour. I'm wondering if we possibly want to try that. Maybe in an unpopulated area like over the school that's not in service today. Let's just try it real quick. So I'm looking at my telemetry, which is really hard to see because of the color problems. Let's just go out that way. Wow, so it's already like losing connection off and on. So let's do a return to home in advanced mode. Before I do that, actually, let's try to swipe this away. Okay, you can swipe that away if you want to. I kind of want to take some pictures. Let's see if we can do that. Wow, camera, is it locked up or is my signal locked? What's up? I'm rotating the camera and nothing's happening. So we'll try to come back. Really? There we go. It was just like on the fringe of connection. Okay, so I have no doubt this thing can go about 50 miles per hour. So we're just on the very fringe of connection. Even there, it doesn't look like it's that good of a connection because of our Wi-Fi. I want to go up and get some pictures, so I'm going to stop recording, guys. Boom. And I'm going to start taking some photos, even though my screen is a complete cluster. We'll take a picture of that, and then we'll yaw to the right. Whoa, what's going on with our screen, guys? Camera up. So yeah, definitely Wi-Fi woes. Another picture. Okay, let's go ahead and yaw to the right. Yaw to the right a bit. Yeah, so Wi-Fi connection problems even at this distance. I have no control. And this is not that far away at all. So no control. There we go. Pop back into control. Let's get kind of a view of the West Maui Mountains there and take a couple pictures. Okay, picture. Boy, just really bad FPV right now with these color problems. Let's go ahead and take a picture of this tree close up. And let's get kind of close and take a picture of maybe this table in the blue color and just see how those pictures look like with some backing. Looks like that error popped up again, that calibration error. Okay, so we're gonna hover right about here and we're gonna get this table in view. It's interesting that I can still kind of see it on the video, but it is quite weird with these RGB colors. Picture. I'll let you guys be the judge of these pictures, if they're even coming out. Well, yeah, right into the sun. That's right, basically right into the sun there. Do a picture of that. Critically low battery, let's see what it does. I'm not gonna press anything, okay? Now let's start recording right into the sun. Let's see how that video looks. I'm gonna fly out a bit. Just going very slow, so you can go slow even in advanced mode. I'm seeing a very rapid flashing red light on the back of the drone. I'm just gonna go out here a ways and see if it'll automatically return to home or what it does. And it's absolute lowest battery power. Whoa. Okay, I can't push up and it's landing. So if you don't, guys, if you do not critical battery, Teal is landing. So if you ignore that, guys, that notification of low battery and landing, it looks like a minute or two after that. There we go. So you can see that light is just flashing like crazy. I guess we'll throw one more battery in it since we have one more fully charged battery, and we'll try some other things before we call this one quits and go through pros and cons. Okay guys, new batteries in, the final third battery, and let's see what we can do. So I've got connected to the Wi-Fi already, and I'm gonna go into Teal flight one more time, recording the screen, really hoping that the camera has fixed itself. Maybe it's an overheating problem, because remember, it was fine the first battery, and the second battery had that RGB issue on the FPV, and then the third battery, we'll see how this does now. So fly, still red, green, blue, orange. My goodness, what is the problem? So a little bit of a glitch. So this may tell us maybe they need to really update. Okay, so that's recording in 4K in portrait. I'm gonna do the 4K zoom in. What that's doing is it's kind of like zooming in to the 4K, and let's see how this performs now. One more time, let's try the voice launch. No, unrecognized command. Takeoff. It just has the weirdest bubble that pops up as soon as you touch the thing, even if you touch and hold it. I remember in my unboxing it let me take off when I tried it, but it was like a 30-second lag, so something they really need to work on. Taking off with the 4K zoomed in mode, and start. Uh-oh, start. Wow. Okay, so a little bit of a problem. It's not letting me take off. There's no warning indications anywhere. Start. No. So definitely a con here. Why can't we take off? No indication of what's going on. I'm gonna go out of the app, restart the app, see if we can troubleshoot this thing. Okay, let's not touch anything. Let's take off in portrait mode. Let's see if it can do it. Start. Boy, guys. So what does this mean? Expecting a little more from this US company. Just being honest here, guys. Don't want to piss anybody off, but if I am, you're hearing it as it is. That's just how this thing is flying for me. What do we do? All we can do is power this thing down, and then we'll try again. Okay guys, so rebooted one more time. This is the last time I'm going to reboot this thing because it's getting quite frustrating. Let's fly. This camera is still messed up. Man, how disappointing. I can't even fly FPV unless I want to see colors, primary color mode. So let's take off, start. There we go. Okay, so have no idea what that was, why it didn't let me take off, but now it is. So anyway, if that happens to you, shut down everything and start again. We were gonna try, remember the zoomed in 4K, zooming in. I want to zoom out, I want to start it first, and then I want to try to zoom in. So I'm pressing zoom in now. Okay, so this is how the zoomed in 4K looks. Gonna pitch the camera up a bit. So I have a much more immediate camera control. This is where it seems like it would have possibly a stabilization because it's cropping in so much. So let's just fly it a little bit, see what we can do for maybe, you know, if you wanted to get some cinematic shots maybe. Just going up slowly. I'm still seeing some rocking in the camera and my beautiful RGB display. What's going on? Okay, limitation. If I have my finger on a stick, right now I'm gaining altitude. I cannot rotate the camera simultaneously. Big bummer there. You can't control the camera while you're moving the craft. Why not? Coming down here and seeing some major head sway. Okay, head sway coming down, and this is in beginner intermediate mode. Let's see how fast it actually goes in this mode. It's very locked in low wind though, just hovering there. Full throttle forward. Yeah, so I saw a speed limiter come in there once it noticed how fast it was going. See that? It's basically a speed limiter. And look at that dropping once I let off. So it kind of went up, and then when I let off it dropped. So stuff you normally see in non-sonic ground sensing and non-optical flow, and this one seems to have optical flow, sonic, and still do that, unfortunately. Okay, well anyway, you'll see how the 4K looks. Let's go ahead and go up a little bit. higher. So with this drone, you have to, as long as you're using the phone, you have to pitch the camera where you want, and then you have to start to fly. So let's go forward slowly. So pretty much the FPV is quite unusable, guys. So this is how it looks to me going kind of slow. It's already dropping out of connection at 96 feet high and 82 feet away. And you can tell when it's dropping, when it just kind of jitters and stops. Let's see how far we can go. There we go. So I'm just trying to go as far as possible. Let's pick the camera up. I do trust this thing not to follow the sky. That's why I'm kind of going over a couple of structures. Let's go a little higher. Get some distance from this Wi-Fi of these houses. And maybe just do a range test, huh? Might as well. So, flying out at a slow speed. Still seem to be moving. I'm looking at it line of sight. Jittering, wanting to stop. Completely lost FPV, and then the drone's not moving anymore. So how far is that, guys? Let's check this out. Boy, I really wish I could see it, but look at the screen. I can't even see the numbers over this color. What the hell? Okay, so at least it's returning to home though. Or it's giving me a warning it will. Looking at it, line of sight, and it's doing nothing yet. Oh boy, come on home. Connection lost, Teal will return to home. Okay, I see it turning and coming back. It does come home quite fast. You hear it there? Okay. So I think that's enough for me. We'll go ahead and just let it land. Let's tilt the camera down as far as we can. Came in back in connection. That was the camera tilted all the way down in that descent. Just tilt it back up to like horizon level. Let's see where it lands this time. See how close it is to home. Pretty far away. And there we go. Landing itself right around my limitation of tolerance for a return to home. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's right around 7 or 8 feet away from the return to home. So we kind of noticed a degradation in its precision the longer this thing was flying and the more batteries we put through it. So anyway, we'll do a pros and cons. It is what it is. Okay guys, so let me just stop this application. I am using the AZ screen recorder app in the App Store. I get a lot of questions on what I use. That's the one I use to record my Android screens, and then I also use just the built-in one for iOS. Since iOS 11, they've had a built-in. Anyway, we want to do a pros and cons on this thing. Now, definitely not as good as I expected it to be. You guys can judge for yourself how the video was, because I will not have been able to see the video while I was flying, except for this FPV. And what the heck is up with this? From the second battery on, the first battery it was fine. Nice regular clear picture FPV. Second battery I was getting this weird RGB corruption look, so a glitch they need to fix there. And that comes to what this thing's all about. I mean, it is basically, you can purchase this now on their website, and it kind of almost gives me a flashback to an incomplete drone as far as software goes. And I think maybe they're okay with that, because this drone was kind of implemented to be a development platform. So it seems like what they've done is they've released it to the public, and they're kind of trying to get software developers online to create the software for it. And that could be a good thing as far as open source goes and for just development purposes. But when you're trying to buy the product to show like a complete and finished product, it's gonna kind of show some negatives, and that's what it's doing exactly in this review. So I'd recommend, if you're looking for a drone and you're not a developer, I cannot recommend to buy this right now. It's just my honest opinion. If you're following this thing and you're just a drone fan, maybe eventually when some better apps come out for it and they take care of a lot of these glitches, it will probably be a lot better drone, kind of like the problem the Xeno's having right now, where it's just an incomplete software product. The product itself physically is great, but the software needs a lot of work. So that kind of wraps it up as far as the major con on this. It's just kind of getting nitpicky into the little individual cons. We can see that the range, realistically, in my area, I mean, I'm in kind of the middle of a park. There are houses a couple hundred feet away from me that are interfering with it. I do have the cellular data off on this, and that's kind of the only way you can get it to connect, is if you turn your cellular data off. But it was still only getting right around 100 feet of range until we really lost connection of the FPV, and also control connection of the craft. It starts to get stuttery, and then it sits there for a while under no control, gives you a warning of lost connection, and then it seems like it takes another 30 seconds to figure out it needs to come home. The video, of course, a lot of people aren't going to like the 4K portrait only video. In 4K mode, in 2.5 and 1080, it did have the widescreen, so no problem. As far as flight time goes, I will have had the first two. This third battery, I didn't fully exhaust it. The first two, I will have the flight time pop up there on how much time I was getting on each of those flights. The second battery, we did land it until it was fully exhausted, and it forced us to land. So that will be the main one we're looking at, is how much actual flight time it can fly for. When it does tell you it needs to return to home, I almost think that maybe it shouldn't give you the option. I think it should just start coming back, because if you don't return to home after like a minute, it's gonna just land where it is in critical battery mode. And it didn't seem like I could control it. I couldn't control it laterally, or I couldn't push up on the controls. It seemed to even bring it back closer once it went into that final exhaustive landing phase. So that's why I kind of kept it in the park, just in case that happened. It did land over there and I couldn't do anything once it went into that mode. So that's kind of a con. So you need to definitely say yes to bring it back whenever it tells you to. Being that we couldn't see the battery percentage, all we had is this little battery icon that kind of wasn't so great in my mind. I do like to see my percentages up on my screen. That way you can gauge distances and how long it can fly better. Keep in mind, there was no vertical speed. It was only showing its horizontal speed. One of the pros is it is a good sport flyer. It did go very fast. I have no doubt this thing can go 60 miles per hour. I didn't really have the length to fly it that fast, because it loses connection a couple seconds after you get going up speed, because it is the Wi-Fi, so you can't even really get up to 60 miles per hour if you're possibly having a little bit of interference. Beginner to advanced modes did work very well as far as speed goes. It was pretty stable and locked in. We noticed it didn't crash when I turned hard, but when I stopped, it did want to kind of lose its altitude and gain its altitude a little bit after flying fast and stopping, which a lot of barometer only drones have. This one has a barometer and it has those sonic sensors on it on the bottom, so I would have expected it to be a little better when I stopped, especially that time I stopped over here, remember, and it went way low, basically touched the ground and then kind of came up on its own. You would think those sonic sensors would kick in and prevent it from closing that gap so much and speed up the propeller, since this is a pretty powerful drone. And I think the last thing I want to touch on is the GPS accuracy. You saw how we did 3 return to homes. The first one was pretty spot on. I mean, that thing we launched from right here in the center of this square, and it basically landed right here on the first return to home. The second return to home was a couple feet away right here, and the third return to home was pretty intolerable as far as precision landing standards goes, because it was way over here about 6 to 8 feet away, or 6 to 7 feet away. So that's the differences I'm getting. I mean, it could be the time of day and the sun is getting lower in the sky, you know. Guys, I know that was quite a long review, but we did put it through just about 3 batteries, and that's my initial review of the TEAL flight review. of the Teal One. A lot to be desired, especially from a US company, but I do think, you know, this is just my speculation, I do think that they wanted to get this out as a platform for developers to start developing for it. And they just got to stick with that, because if people start buying this and want everything to work perfect because they just want to fly it and use it, they're going to be disappointed. I hope that some developers can get a hold of this thing and expand it and make it better. So anyway, that's how it flew for me. Again, my reviews are always honest. As far as more specs on the Teal, guys, and where to get this thing, I'll have the link in the description down below the video, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching. Wow, the LED is very pretty though, isn't it? That's like the nicest thing on the aircraft, is that nice teal LED on the back.